Every cook has a kitchen full of gizmos and gadgets, but when you're freestyle cooking, your most important tool is always your sense of taste. Follow your taste buds. They know what you like.
Let me share a secret recipe. Discover an ingredient that fires your imagination. Choose other flavors to match. Find the best way to cook them. My secret recipe? Cooking without a recipe.
It's a bit chilly out there today, so for dinner tonight, we're craving a pot full of steaming hot soup. Fast, filling, and full of flavor because you can make a soup out of anything. All you need is an idea, your sense of taste, and perhaps a favorite ingredient or two. Here's one of mine. There are as many different soups as there are cooks, but at heart they're all basically the same. Tasty flavors suspended in a tasty liquid. And the best way to know how to combine these is to taste them. For instance, raw mushrooms have a sharp, almost bitter flavor that I don't particularly like. I much prefer the earthy, sweet flavor that emerges when they've been cooked. Of course, their flavor changes depending on how they're cooked. I mean, you could just heat all this up and make a soup, but you would miss a flavor building opportunity. Instead, you can start by sautéing them, and the high heat will really brighten up their flavors. Tasting while you cook really does open up a world of options. For instance, you can brown these mushrooms off in plain old vegetable oil, but ask yourself, what do you prefer? Neutral oil or aromatic olive oil or rich butter? Mushrooms are like all vegetables. They're mostly water, so as these heat up and that water evaporates away, the remaining mushroom is free to start browning. Now here's an ingredient that works with anything. These are one of the most versatile seasonings in any kitchen. But try a piece raw and you'll be sleepy on the couch. Heat them through though and they lose that sort of pungency and they gain a sweet, earthy neutrality that makes them part of a flavor base. Taste every step of the way. Definitely need some salt and pepper. Almost time to add the broth, but first, some more flavor. Like a half-full, full-bodied Shiraz. Looks awesome. I know it's going to taste good too. It tastes really good, but it's a bit like eating brown mushrooms while sipping a glass of red wine. The flavors haven't really married together yet, so it's always a good idea when you add wine to let it vigorously reduce for a few minutes, to let all those flavors start to blend. It doesn't take very long. Here's something else you learn when you taste. There's nothing worse than a soup where you can't find the main ingredient. It's just sort of floating around in there somewhere. It's like being the last guy on the buffet line. So a good rule of thumb is to add an amount of broth roughly equal to what's already in the pot. That way you don't end up with a thin soup. That looks about right. Now, for many of us, texture is a very important part of flavor. A thicker soup just feels nicer in the mouth, and if you agree, now's the time to add some cornstarch, but don't stir it straight in. If you do, it'll get lumpy. It's a better idea to dissolve it first in a little bit of liquid, some water, some broth, the last splash of Shiraz. This is known as a slurry, a Shiraz slurry, and it will dissolve easily in the soup. The soup could use a little bit more body, so here's how to turn mushroom soup into cream of mushroom soup. A big splash of cream. And lastly, an herb would feel right at home in here. Sometimes recipes seem to suggest that there's a right or a wrong ingredient, but really what you're doing is just adding the writer's favorite, because when you're creating a dish at home, what really matters is what you and your family like. That's the important thing. For me, it's often thyme, and then add enough so you can really taste it, but not so much that you overwhelm the primary flavor of the mushroom. Taste as you go, and when you like what's there, you're done. Good to go. There are many valuable kitchen skills: slicing, dicing, roasting, sautéing, but none are as important as tasting. You can use your sense of taste to navigate your way through any recipe or create your own by transforming a pile of mushrooms, an onion, butter, red wine, chicken broth, cornstarch, cream, and aromatic thyme into a tasty cream of mushroom soup. Love those mushrooms. You know, we all have a certain food we love, but whether it's the sweet and sour pucker of lemonade or the seductive dance of aromas in a bowl of Thai noodles, balanced food tastes better. And the best way to create that balance in your own cooking is to understand the basic tastes. Sweet, sour, spicy, salty, savory, bitter, they're all here. And when all of these basic tastes are in harmony, food is at its best. Sweet, plain white sugar, brown sugar, maple, molasses, honey. Sour, sour vinegars. Sour citrus. Spicy, spicy hot sauces, peppercorns, and chilies. The salts of the world. Soy sauce, fish sauce. And savory. Savory beans, savory grains. And bitter, bitter beer, coffee, tonic water, and Worcestershire. So when one of these basic tastes is a little bit too prominent, food seems out of balance. So if you're freestyle cooking, have a taste, see what's sticking out, and feel free to stir in some balance. Here's a great example. Every Saturday morning, we head for our local farmer's market and make a beeline straight for our friend Smoked Salmon. He dresses a simple bagel up with smoked salmon and all the fixings, and it's one of the single best treats I know. And it's just a sandwich. It's also a great example of how balancing tastes can help you create a masterpiece. Dill, red onion, lemon, capers, and cream cheese. Sweet, salty, sour, bitter, savory, balance. Some flavors just go together naturally, and with these flavors, it really doesn't matter how you put them together. They're going to taste great no matter what you do. But if you just happen to slip them in between a toasted bagel, look out, edible masterpiece. Looks like soup and sandwiches are on the menu tonight. You can make a tasty cream cheese spread to go with smoked salmon and bagels any day of the week, morning, noon, or night, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Cream cheese is perfect for this sort of thing because, well, it doesn't really have a whole lot of its own flavor. It's more of a neutral vehicle that's perfect for carrying other flavors like salty, briny capers and sour lemon, which can also be quite aromatic if you take a second and zest the skin. Now for some dill. And there's no particular reason why dill is a better choice than, say, basil or tarragon, other than tradition. Dill has a tangy, pungent flavor that really goes well with the richness of the fish, and it's at its best when it's not heated. So all these flavors are often found together. That needs a bit of salt. And it wouldn't hurt to add a little bit more dill, too. This is cold smoked salmon, so it's not actually cooked. It is preserved, though, both with salt and by smoking. There's actually two different flavors here, the smoke and the salmon. Red onions are perfect for this because they're not as strongly flavored as white onions. Their flavor is quite a bit milder. And last but not least, a little bit of spicy. Now that is a thing of beauty. Cooking is how we make ingredients edible and even flavorful. Tasting is how we judge our cooking, and it's often a cook's most reliable tool. Tasting allows you to build a balanced sandwich with savory smoked salmon, sour lemon, salty capers, sweet onion, aromatic dill, and neutral cream cheese. Tasting is how we discover that a soup made by first sauteing mushrooms and onion in butter, then adding red wine, chicken broth, cornstarch, cream, and aromatic thyme tastes better than just throwing everything into the pot and heating it up. You could say that tasting is what elevates cooking merely to satisfy our appetite to cooking for pleasure. However you slice it though, tasting is one of the most important skills you can develop in your kitchen. Think of it this way. We eat a lot of things for pleasure, knowing full well that they might not be all that nutritious. Let's just say I know exactly what it feels like to be staring at the bottom of an empty ice cream container, wondering how did I get there? Not that there's anything wrong with a pile full of ice cream. As Julia Child once said, everything in moderation, including moderation. I wonder if she ever dipped ice cream balls in chocolate, though. This is one of my all-time favorite treats. I mean, what could be better than vanilla ice cream dipped in chocolate? And the best way to make that happen is to pre-scoop the vanilla ice cream balls and then freeze them again until they're rock solid. Because when it comes time to dip the ice cream in the chocolate, well, the ice cream's cold, the chocolate's going to be a little bit hot. It's a good idea to make sure that ice cream is as cold as possible. When ice cream melts, it has a whole lot more flavor than when it's frozen, but it stays just as sweet. That's because taste and flavor are two different things. We've all been there, in the depths of misery, overcome by a cold, unable to taste a thing. Pinch your nose, have a sip, And this could be any liquid under the sun, but it still tastes sweet. How come? Because flavor is a combination of taste, texture, temperature, and most importantly, aroma. In fact, most of the flavor we perceive in food has nothing to do with our taste buds. It's all about the scent, the aroma of freshly baked bread, a pungent blue cheese, a perfectly ripe tomato. No smell, no flavor, but you can still taste. Your taste buds can sense 5 things, whether food is sweet, sour, salty, bitter, or savory. So you don't need your nose to know that lemonade is sweet and sour, but you do need it to tell the difference between a lemon and vinegar. And you don't need your nose to know when something is spicy either. Spicy heat irritates your taste buds and everything else in your mouth. But what about cold? Well, cold numbs everything down, making it hard for your taste buds to do their job, which is why ice cream tastes stronger when it's melted than it does when it's frozen. It's hard work understanding that, but the rewards are worth it. Chocolate is the world's most recognizable flavor, and the darker the better. It tastes amazing no matter how you eat it, especially wrapped around vanilla ice cream. The best way to melt a large block of chocolate like this is to chop it into smaller pieces and then toss it into a bowl like this. The chocolate is insulated here from the direct heat of the flame, and by setting the bowl over a pot of simmering water, you're getting more than enough heat to actually melt the chocolate, but it's a delicate heat. When you're planning on a little chocolate dipping, your best bet is to finish melting the chocolate off the heat. Just keep stirring until it's nice and smooth. You could leave this on the heat and it would melt all the way, but that way the temperature would be a bit higher. This way it's at the lowest possible temperature, perfect for dipping things into. You can add a little texture to these ice cream balls too. And you've got lots of choices. Breakfast cereals, chopped nuts, even some coconut. Ice cream, chocolate, and coconut. I know somebody is going to be impressed by all of this. Gabe is going to love these. Spicy, sour, and sweet. You can use your sense of taste to help you create masterpieces in the kitchen, but humans first developed a sense of taste to determine whether something was harmful or not. Not today, though. Today we use our sense of taste to discover what we like. And I don't think that's going to be an issue today. It's soup, sandwich, and salad day. And a salad bowl is easy to fill with flavor. Crisp mixed greens, lots of different colors in here. Crisp, colorful carrot. I love how easy it is to fill this bowl with flavor, with healthy flavor. And the more colors, the better. Orange carrot and a pungent red onion. All tossed with a balanced dressing. A little bit of sweet honey, some sour vinegar, touch of spicy hot sauce, pinch of salt, and some aromatic olive oil. It's easy to make your own balanced dressings. Now that's a bowl full of flavor. And here's a bowl full of flavor too. Cream of mushroom soup. That is a thing of beauty. And so are these. Now here's a treat that's got it all. And it's not just frozen vanilla ice cream. It's frozen vanilla ice cream dipped in crisp chocolate. And the coconut's been crisp all along. Best of all, it's all chocolatey. It's a good thing I made seconds. You can use your sense of taste to help you out in the kitchen too. Just break out a spoon, have a taste, and if you like it, you're on the right track. Who wants to serve the salad?
I do again.
Isn't that nice? Now, I've already tasted this soup about 10 times, so. You know where I got the idea for this bagel, of course. We call this the Saturday morning bagel on a Tuesday night.
What are you having for dessert?
Okay, you can open your eyes now. What's in the middle?
Ice cream.
How do you know? Do you have X-ray vision?
Yeah.